Murder in the False Degree, a new crime podcast created by Jordan Ray Allen. Episode Shot Clock. Chapter 1. The Perfect Housewife. In the quaint town of Surrey, Maine, the 1950s were a time of simplicity and routine. The townsfolk prided themselves on their punctuality, a virtue that was almost sacred. Among them was Margaret Whittaker, an ordinary housewife with an extraordinary obsession. Margaret's life revolved around time. Her pristine kitchen was adorned with clocks of all shapes and sizes, each meticulously set to the exact second. To the outside world, she was the epitome of domestic perfection. But beneath this facade lay a darkness that no one could have imagined. Margaret's days were a symphony of ticking clocks and household chores. She was known for her punctuality, her every move synchronized with the ticking of her clocks. But as night fell, a sinister transformation took place. Clad in a different attire, she became a shadowy figure, slipping into the night with a pocket watch in one hand and a sinister object in the other. Her targets were those who dared to defy the sanctity of time. The tardy, the latecomers, the ones who disrupted the town's rhythm. Margaret's first victim was Mr. Thompson, the local grocer known for his habit of opening his store a few minutes late. One evening, as he locked up his shop, Margaret struck. The next morning, his body was found decaying under the historic four-sided clock in the downtown square, a chilling reminder of the consequences of tardiness. The town was horrified, but no one suspected the demure housewife who always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. Chapter 2. The pattern emerges. As the bodies piled up, each found under the ominous clock, the town was gripped with fear. The victims shared one common trait. They were all known for being late. Margaret's obsession with time had turned deadly, and her reign of terror showed no signs of stopping. She reveled in the meticulous planning of each murder, the thrill of the hunt, and the satisfaction of seeing her victims' lifeless bodies as a testament to her twisted sense of order. Detective Jameson, a man as punctual as the town itself, was assigned to the case. He noticed the pattern, but struggled to find the connection. The town's fear grew with each passing day, the clock in the square becoming a symbol of dread. Margaret watched from the shadows, her obsession with time consuming her every thought. She knew it was only a matter of time before the detective would piece it all together, but she relished the challenge. Chapter 3. The Red Herrings. Rumors began to swirl around town. Some suspected the local clockmaker, Mr. Hargrove, who had an uncanny knowledge of the town's timepieces. Others pointed fingers at Mrs. Jenkins, the librarian, who was known for her strict adherence to the library's opening hours. False accusations flew, and the town's sense of security was shattered. Detective Jameson followed every lead, but each one led to a dead end. The real killer remained, elusive, hidden in plain sight. Margaret continued her nightly escapades, her obsession with time driving her to new heights of depravity. She took pleasure in the chaos she had created, the fear that gripped the town, and the knowledge that she was always one step ahead. Chapter 4. The Confrontation. One fateful night, as Margaret prepared for her next victim, she found herself face to face with Detective Jameson. The confrontation was inevitable, a clash between two forces driven by their own sense of order. In the dim light of the clock tower, the truth was revealed. Margaret's obsession had turned her into a monster, and the detective's relentless pursuit of justice brought her reign of terror to an end. Detective Jameson had been meticulously piecing together the clues. He noticed that each victim had been seen interacting with Margaret shortly before their deaths. His breakthrough came when he discovered a hidden compartment in Margaret's kitchen, filled with detailed notes about each murder. Armed with this evidence, he confronted her at the clock tower. Margaret, caught off guard, tried to maintain her composure. She claimed she was there to honor and mourn the tragic lives lost in the community. Detective Jameson played along, nodding sympathetically as she spoke. But as the conversation continued, he skillfully shifted the topic, subtly weaving in the evidence he had gathered. Margaret's calm facade began to crack as Jameson's questions grew more pointed. Her excuses faltered, and the truth started to seep through. Finally, Jameson looked her in the eye and said, "It's over, Margaret. We know you're the killer." Margaret's face twisted with a mix of rage and despair. She tried to flee, but Jameson was prepared. A struggle ensued, and in the chaos, Margaret confessed to her crimes, her voice filled with a twisted pride. Jameson's determination and quick thinking led to her capture, ending her reign of terror. Chapter 5. The Execution. Margaret Whittaker was tried and found guilty of multiple counts of murder. The town watched in a mix of relief and horror as she was sentenced to death. On the day of her execution, a crowd gathered, their eyes fixed on the clock tower. At the very moment Margaret breathed her last breath, the four-sided clock stopped. Despite numerous attempts by professionals to repair it, the clock has never worked since. Many believe that her spirit is trapped within it, a haunting reminder of her obsession with time. To this day, some townsfolk are afraid to walk past the clock, fearing the lingering presence of Margaret Whittaker. The clock stands as a chilling symbol of the darkness that once gripped the town of Surrey, Maine. Join us next time as we delve into another chilling crime story. Until then, keep an eye on the clock and remember, time waits for no one.